Hel- 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. I hope you've had a good week. I hope I hope everything's going well. This week, as I understand it, this week 10, you've got some test, or at least a test, midterm test. So good luck on that. This is week 10, and we are really in the home stretch of our semester. I'm not sure what's going on with our schedule, if we're going to have in person classes or not for weeks 13, 14, and 15. That's what we're scheduled to do, but I don't know what we're actually doing. So everything's still very touch and go. So if we're in person, then we're going to have a great time meeting each other. But I want to make sure it's worth your while and make sure that if we're not meeting in person, we can adjust for that. For your the lessons, everyone should have their grades, and that should be fine. And for the feedback, once we really kick that into gear, I'm much happier about it. I'm filming this on Friday, and we're gonna start our second videos. We'll give the weekend. The feedback shouldn't take too long. Don't put too much effort into it. That's the idea. This is just trying to get you to critically think about and be more helpful in helping each other. So we'll take care of that and finish that up in week 10 during the week as well. Just get that out of the way, and we can share the feedback with each other. So to review week 9, we started talking about the actual phonemic charts, the IPA, the different sounds of English. Something to remember is that when we talk about the sounds and the phenoms and IPA, that's what it is. It's the sound of English, not the spelling. Those are different. And so it is something that we'll need to work our minds around, as it were. So this week we're going to talk about some difficulties that Korean speakers have with English. There's some unfamiliar sounds, some non-native sounds, and then also there's some other problems that Koreans have when speaking English. These are common problems. Some things. So I have 3 questions for us. Question 1. So unfamiliar English sounds can usually be substituted for familiar sounds. Every language does this. It's just what we do. It's humans. So when we borrow a sound or a word, we change it, the pronunciation, to better fit into our native language. Let's say, here's an example. Here's an example. Computer. Computer. Now, computer, that's the American English pronunciation, but in Korean, computer, it's different because it fits into the Korean pronunciation rules. So that does happen. So we do substitution. Some vowel sounds in there are some vowel sounds in English that are difficult for Korean speakers. We'll get into that. And there are some other issues with pronunciation that Korean learners of English can have. So let's first get into difficult consonant sounds. These ones are a bit more obvious. I'm sure you're thinking of a few right now. Sounds of j, ch, z. So chin, jin, zin, or chain, jane, zane. These can be difficult to distinguish, especially with the z sound. These are Korean doesn't have a native z sound, so we substitute it for usually a j or ch. So zombie becomes jumbi. Try to approximate what it is, but it's not exactly. Also, of course, the famous L and R, the L and R. lore, roar, lily, really, lip, rip. But some difficult vowels that we have that Korean speakers can have problem with, the A and E. So pan, pin, pan, pin, man, min, man, min, lobes, loaves, lobes, loaves. Of course, the V sound of v, it's non-native. The fricatives aren't native to Korean, so Koreans have a harder time with that. So we'll have to bear that in mind as we practice and as we're going to teach these in the future. E and E. So slip, sleep, slip, sleep, lip, leap, lip, leap, dip, deep, dip, deep. So the I, E, 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 E. Good. Substitution is also a major thing where we change the sounds. So we see the th for duh, or s for th, p for f, b for v, and j or s for z. We'll go into those more details, right? We'll go into more details about those sounds in another segment. Other problems with Korean, there's rules about about how we end a word. So we add, gosh darn. So we add in, if there's a consonant ending, we have or e to the end of the word. So nice, nice, it ends. It becomes nice. That's happened. Or so we apply the Korean syntax pronunciation rules on English pronunciation. Very common mistake if we apply L1 onto L2. It's called interference. And so it's very common to add on the or e onto consonant endings. And then, of course, we have Konglish, which are they're not incorrect Korean in that they're not incorrect in a Korean context, but they are incorrect in an English context. Words like skinship, notebook in the sense of how we use it, as, apata. Those are some examples. Konglish is perfectly acceptable in Korean. It's not incorrect. It's how it is. At regional variation and words change meaning, that's okay. But when we use the Konglish in English, then it's easy to become misunderstood and to misunderstand others. So it's something to be aware of. But I'll give you an example. The word entree it's a French word, but in North America, if you go to a restaurant, there's entrees. Now, those are the main dishes on the menu. But in France, entrees are what we call appetizers, the little food you eat before the big food. So in North America, we've changed the meaning of the word in that context. It's not incorrect in how we use it, because we use it in a different way. But in the original French, it is incorrect. It happens. Three, two, one. All right, let's take a look at some pronunciation a bit closer with the p and f, b, v, th, s, th, d. So let's review before that places of articulation and manner of articulation. Don't forget we have places. Labial means your lips. Dental, teeth. Alveolar, postalveolar, velar, glottal. Manners, we have nasal, stop, affricative, fricative. And then we have voicing. Voicing, of course, we have down here. If you ever get confused, put your fingers on your throat, on your neck, and feel if you feel vibrations, you feel shaking. So let's take the S sound. I don't feel anything. But let's take the ah sound. Ah. Ah. You feel the vibrations. That's the difference between voiced and unvoiced. If you ever get confused, put your fingers on your throat and go and make that sound, and you can feel if it's voiced or unvoiced. So p and f. So say p. The p sound is a voiceless bilabial stop. So we make that. So p, 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 bilabial, two lips, and we're stopping the air. P, 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 p. That's how it works. If we were to voice this, what would happen? It's a different sound. It's ba, 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 ba. It's B now. So it's very important that we pay attention to voiced and voiceless in that case, because they're very different sounds. But that with a small change. But F, the f, is a voiceless labial dental fricative. We're using our lips and our teeth and creating some friction there. So they can be quite close. We have to make sure we put our lips together for p, but for fa, you can see, excuse me, but this is how it's going to be. The teeth go on the bottom lip. So, f, f, f. If we do not put our teeth, our top teeth on our bottom lip for the f sound, then it becomes p. So it's quite important. If we put our teeth on teeth and try to make the sound like this, it's much closer to a H sound. So the placement of where we put things is very important. So let's look at some of the examples. Like, it's a sharp pen. It's a sharp pin versus it's a sharp fin. It's a sharp fin. Pen, fin. Good. Now let's take a look. Peel this orange. Peel this orange. Peel this orange. Feel this orange. Feel this orange. Feel this orange. Good. There's no pork in here. There's no pork in here. There's no fork in here. There's no fork in here. This one is very dangerous for Koreans, especially because polka is how we say it, polka. But you do see it referenced, the word pork in Korean is sometimes transliterated as polka, the same word as the utensil. So this is an excellent words to practice upon. Pork, fork, pork, fork, pork, fork. Next, snip these flowers, snip these flowers, sniff these flowers, sniff these flowers. He showed me his palm. He showed me his palm. He showed me his palm. He showed me his farm. He showed me his farm. Show me his farm. You'll notice that there's the L and R here, which so we have the P and F difference and the L and R. So it's quite easy for Korean speakers to get to easily fall into the combination of the L and R sound. So that's why we're excited. So palm, palm, farm, farm. You'll notice the A sound is different as well. All right. Again, we have B, voiced bilabial stop, and V, voiced labial dental fricative. So P and F, p, f, voiceless. Voiced. B, v, b, v, b, v. So these are the same the same sounds, except b and v are voiced, and p and f are voiceless. So let's take a look here. They're good bets. They're good bets. 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 They're good vets. They're good vets. They're good vets. He wore his best. He wore his best. He wore his best. He wore his vest. He wore his vest. He wore his vest. Can they lift the ban? Can they lift the ban? Can they lift the ban? Can they lift the van? Can they lift the van? Can they lift the van? We need more bolts. We need more bolts. We need more bolts. We need more volts. We need more volts. Is something that we can help if you're having a bit of trouble. Elongate that v sound a little bit, just a little bit, because ba by itself, by its nature, cannot be elongated by itself, but v and f can. So we can make it a tiny bit longer, and that will help. If people are having a hard time hearing the difference for you, or if you're having a hard time feeling the difference as much, make the v sound a little bit longer. For example, Jones won the boat. Jones won the boat. Jones won the vote. Jones won the vote. So I'm building up, I'm elongating, I'm making the v sound a little bit longer, because it can be, and so making it clear, more clearly be heard by the listener. Jones won the boat. Jones won the vote. There we go. It's a berry red color. It's a berry red color. It's a very red color. It's a very red color. It's a berry red color. It's a very red color. You can hear, hopefully, especially now with these things, you can hear the b and the v difference. All right. All right, here we go. So we have the th and the s. Th is a voiceless dental fricative, while s is a voiceless alveolar fricative. This has to do with tongue placement. So this is where we're placing our tongue behind our teeth, while the tongue goes slightly up behind the teeth and on the alveolar ridge of our mouth. So let's do a bit of practice. What a sweet little mouse. What a sweet little mouse. Mouse. What a sweet little mouth. What a sweet little mouth. What a sweet little mouth. Is this sum okay? Is this sum okay? Is this sum okay? Is this thumb okay? Is this thumb okay? Is this thumb okay? He's sinking. He's sinking. He's sinking. He's thinking. He's thinking. He's thinking. I pronounce those differently. Much more the ing and ing thing. There's a mountain pass. There's a mountain pass. There's a mountain pass. There's a mountain path. There's a mountain path. There's a mountain path. All right. Good. So here we have the voice of the and the d, voice alveolar stop. We have the voiceless dental fricative and voiceless alveolar, and the voice here. Okay, so Smith is bigger, Dan Jones. Smith is bigger, Dan Jones. Smith is bigger than Jones. Smith is bigger than Jones. Day arrived. They arrived. Day arrived. They arrived. Jim dares his friend. Jim, there's his friend. Jim dares his friend. Jim, there's his friend. Doze after lunch. Doze after lunch. Those after lunch. Those after lunch. I don't know his sister, Ida. I don't know his sister, Ida. I don't know her either. I don't know her either. Some people pronounce the voice dental figurative the as duh. There's some regional variation and some subcultural variation as well. So over there becomes over there. It's how some people talk, and so we should be aware of those different pronunciations. Some people do pronounce it those ways, and I'm certain some, especially elementary school students, that is how they're going to talk. Because do we have this sound natively in Korean? The. We don't. So the easiest thing is to substitute to the d sound. So it's important to help students understand the difference. But some native English speakers don't really pronounce the sound as much. So it is something to be aware of. All right. This has been our video on the focus of pronunciation between certain phonemic sounds and consonants. I hope it's been helpful. Now we're going to go back into Flipgrid, and because this is a great way to show a pronunciation, do some pronunciation practice in a nice little digestible form. All right. I hope you have a great week. Thank you, and goodbye.